welcome to the NXT review. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of NXT. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Daily wrestling podcast that Phil thumbs up with the Mick Foley things popping again.
That's fine.
What was I saying?
I don't know. You're doing your intro.
Oh, yeah. We not only review the show formerly known as NXT 2, but also Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's NXT Big Show.
Sorry, I love the idea that, like, if I can't get this back on track, I'm going to look stupid.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Very noteworthy show.
It wasn't a good one. It was eventful, but I didn't think this lived up to its potential.
Former friend of the podcast.
And that was an event. There were events. There were...
Right result in the main event?
Yeah. Gorilla Monsoon would say. A lot of happenings. But I thought so, but
I must have half watched it again.
It didn't... I didn't think it was very good.
No, it is inherently a diabolical bastardization of what a professional wrestling program should look like every single week, and this was no different whatsoever.
I had a lot of fun with this show. Big events, returns, developments, and, well, we'll get to the biggest prize in all sports entertainment when we get to it. The show opens ahead of the main event, obviously, to determine who's going to Evolution to fight for the NXT Women's Championship, with Lash Legend, Izzi Dame, Jaida Parker, and Jordynne Grace all basically saying why they're going to win tonight.
I didn't mind how cheesy this looked. Like, this was quite an earnest attempt to...
Are you expecting...
No, this
rings.
This felt knowingly kitsch. There was an homage
expecting
to
Deadlock Pro.
It was there was like an homage to the sort of wanky green screens of the Saturday Night's main events where they're just overlapping almost with their little name graphic. And I thought it was just an interesting way to start the show. Like I'm tiring a bit of the walking at the building intros to the shows.
Yeah, they're terrible.
A little bit. I love them.
Well, not terrible.
Love them when it was red/white hot, the fed hot American summers of yore. But I could do with a switch up, and this was that. This was that.
And we got straight into it with a world title match. The TNA world title on the line. Mr. Trick NA himself, Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs, who of course got this title shot because his mate who was there at ringside earned it last week.
Couldn't be asked.
Who cares? We got what we wanted later, so I'm happy. I also liked Briggs's smoking skull vest.
He's had that before, hasn't he?
It deserves a...
No, it doesn't.
Tavion Heights was masked later, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I want from my wrestling. Thank you very much.
This prop entrance thing, he's definitely had it before, and I feel like it functioned properly the first time.
Maybe it's a really elaborate vape. We don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Because didn't Bronson Reed used to have like Mr. Iguana on his shoulder or something?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Maybe disposable
Was
ones.
there ever an explanation for that?
What, the meme celebrity of Mr. Iguana for a week? No, there wasn't.
Fun performer.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
So I was told by everybody.
The lizard on Bronson Reed's shoulder. Was it like a...
Seth Rollins.
Didn't he milkshake duck himself?
Bronson Reed?
No, man, Mr. Iguana. Everyone loves the iguana guy. He's got an iguana, and he is an iguana. I'll just go on to the main roster straight away. Thank you very much. No, you won't. So, see you later, guys.
An order from one of the higher-ups, maybe. Get you over, son. Pop this lizard on your shoulder.
I have a generally... negative outlook. And I have a negative outlook on the use of these big bombastic individual ring entrances, like the special ring entrances. I feel like it's completely overdone. The first time I thought, oh God, Jon Moxley, you're not the guy I thought you were all the time was when he did it for a New Japan show.
Yes.
Remember that?
Oh, God,
That might have been the first sign.
There was one where, like, I apologize for not knowing the reference, but, like, Adam Cole came out with, like, a big...
It's Halo, I think. It's either Halo or Gears of War.
Maybe, and it was just... take that off.
It's one of those, like, why would you put something on that has the absolute opposite of the intended effect, where he's probably thinking I look like a big, hard, muscle-bound soldier. And when I saw Adam Cole wearing that, I thought to myself, that's something a big, hard, muscle-bound soldier, not you, would wear in some kind of intergalactic battle scenario.
Yeah.
You look like an 8-year-old boy on Halloween.
Yeah. It was Halloween. Like,
Halloween.
Yeah.
This one was, if you're going to do it, you've got to, like, you have the match of your life or a great match or a special match. This is piss poor, and he looked like a J-Brone. Look, it's one of those where the last thing you want to feel on behalf of any wrestler, like sympathy obviously is the currency. The last thing, and I don't even like Josh Briggs, but is pity. You pitiable geek wearing your big special coat before you have a clogger.
He didn't have a good night. I agree with you.
He's probably going to drown his sorrows after that, loss.
Where would he do that?
Probably head to the nearest bar, wouldn't he, Sidge?
If you like.
And he does.
He looked good early on in terms of getting the better of Trick Williams. Trick hit him with a big shot early on, and nothing happened, basically, to Josh Briggs. Trick comes back, though, drop kicks him to the outside, and Trick goes out and gets in Inamura's face, tries to nail Inamura, but Inamura blocks it, and Trick gets hit with a big boot to the face by Briggs as we go to a break. When we come back, Trick cuts off Briggs with a spin kick, but Briggs makes his comeback as we return. Trick counters a chokeslam. He sort of backflips out of it and then goes for a powerbomb, which is countered by Josh Briggs, who does manage to hit the chokeslam for a near fall. Trick just grabs the bottom rope at the last second. They trade punches and kicks. Briggs, in the end, though, goes for a huge moonsault, but there's no one there, and Trick Williams hits him with the trick shot, the running knee strike, to get the 1, 2, 3. Let's talk about the match, and then there's big stuff to talk about post-match.
There is, and my criticism sort of falls into that a little bit. You know your thing where when there's a really hot end to a show, you come away thinking, what a fabulous night of pro wrestling entertainment that entire 3 hours were because of the last 12 seconds or something. I have that reverse effect badly, and that is when the momentum feels derailed within the first sort of 10 to 15 minutes, as it was here, by pretty much all of it. Like, every aspect of the things I might like about this did not entertain me. Entrances, poor match.
Oh, it's very poor.
Surprise running, the opposite of high stakes. The performance of the running, all of that, the reaction to the running. Like, it derailed the momentum of the show for me in such a way that I think I spent most of it trying to get back into it. I really do think I was sat right in the middle of where you two are in terms of what I thought of this episode. But had this have been better or hotter or more important feeling, I probably would have been higher. And it took a long way for me to get my energy back up because I thought this was a bad match. These two did not have good chemistry. There were various points where it felt as if there was like miscommunications, maybe. I don't know. Because that brutal extra second of hesitation was evident a lot here. Briggs, I don't rate Briggs, but he's all right. And I think he performed below his spot here.
He's better in multi-man matches, isn't he? Whether it be the triple threat we talked about yesterday at San Luis, or as a tag team. I know that's a bit, but genuinely.
Trick is still, even now, prone to a duffer of a night. And
even now, he's pretty hopeless all the time.
But like you would have hoped, nights like this would have gone. You know, like title reigns and reps or the
never lay.
He's had. I think I've sold my stock because the heel turn's been a bust as well. Like the running. Very, very poor. Really poorly performed. Poorly received in the building. But then I guess, to be fair to them, the mutants in the performance centre, it's not for them, is it? It's for the TNA, pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The other side of this business agreement is that, we're doing this. Oh, we can't wait to get the match. You're not getting it. Right? This is for somebody else. So that's their tough luck, I suppose.
This was very poor. Welcome to Amateur Hour. So there's a bit where I thought Trick Williams was going to break his neck. Never good. never good. Like, it added to the struggle, but it was completely unintentional. And the old avalanche Eric Watts dropkick from Trick Williams.
Yeah.
Just when you think, the Hamflett's right, the extra step of hesitation was evident throughout. Briggs, if I give a toss about him, or in fact the wider wrestling world and how it's all going to work, but news flash, the Fed's going to take all of it if they want. So I'm not one of these, oh God, if only the dastardly Fed would keep their hands off everything and things could thrive. It's like every promoter and booker and talent needs to step up. It's so boring and moribund, the wider wrestling world. I don't care about it. Impress me, dickhead. You're the promoter. You're the booker. Charm me. Be a star. You know what I mean? Like, I'm bored of it. I think people need to step up in this business. You need to leave this business better than I found it. Because I'm bored, brother. There's nothing going on, is there? Really?
The bored Sidgwick crew, the new BSK.
Well, there's just no going on, is there?
Not not in a way that when there was all that sort of interaction on NXT with these other promotions, I was glad to see it. Different if they were bringing what felt like a different flavour. They did not.
You know what I mean? Like, if there was like this like really functioning, healthy, competitive wrestling landscape, like, we did not know how good we had it in the late 2010s. We did, but we didn't. Well, even if we knew at the time and it felt, but it ain't special no more. If I give a toss about it,
you couldn't run an all-in terms of diversity and actual enthusiasm and thirst for something like an all-in. Of course not. You couldn't do it. You couldn't. The bringing together of so many different styles and that real, like that earnest fusion feeling.
Yeah.
And so many stars.
Yeah.
I needed, like, a lot of people would have just needed the wrestling. I would have needed the bona fide stars to get me to watch that. There's a lack of both.
If I give a toss about the career and fate of Josh Briggs and, how, the wrestling landscape could be fixed, I might say something like, he should go to Japan for a stint. I mean, I think he didn't the bed, but go back and try not to crap that old mattress.
You wanted Trick to go on an excursion?
Yeah, but
asked about his development.
Josh Briggs, I'm saying he has got a certain dynamic sort of, he pinballs around that ring, and he's got a massive frame. It's like maybe like he's clay, pretty tedious clay, but he's got this raw speed and power and propulsion that if someone in a competent wrestling company could give him a long run, maybe he would find something. But the amount of times that he would just sprint and accelerate and then just hit the wimpiest looking clothesline you've ever seen in your life. It's like, why can't you are massive. You are powerful. You can burst from one side of the ring to the other very quickly. Why do you look like such a bitch? Do you know what I mean? None of his stuff looks like... How does none of his stuff looks like it hurts? And I'll tell you what as well. Trick Williams, there are times it's like, I don't even know what you're trying to do. All I know is that you failed. Embarrassingly, in humiliating fashion. Like, you ever seen the Eric Watts drop kick?
I think so.
So Eric Watts, I think he wasn't very good at all. He was a nepo baby. You see, he would do this drop kick where, like, the worst ones are the ones most people have seen because they get, like, laughed at in memes and videos and clips and botchamania and what have you. He would kind of jump and like kick their, like, knees a bit.
Yeah, one leg goes up, the other one not so much.
Yeah, and he just he fell flat on his fucking ass constantly. And Trick Williams did the avalanche version of the Eric Watts drop kick last night where he just sort of jumped, kind of like grazed the shin of Briggs and then fell flat on his arse. What do you do all week long in that enormous, state-of-the-art, omni-ringed performance center?
I'm working dropkick class.
I'm working mattress crap in class with Matt Bloom in an hour. What do they do?
Surely that'd be with the Red Rooster.
What goes on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's honestly at times pitiful, the action on this show.
It's like Alton Towers, man. There'll be a massive long queue for the trampoline ring, but nobody wants to do like Coach Bloom's grab a hole.
Maybe Matt Bloom grab a hole. Maybe he sucks ass at his job.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what goes on. This is pitiful. And I tell you what, I'm a fan of Joe Hendry. I do like Joe Hendry. I was shocked at how unover he was.
Yeah. It was a proper
was
no
weird.
pap thing, wasn't it? Like the realization, the collective thing of, and I don't even think it's necessarily a slight on Joe Hendry. It's this collective thing of, this is all feeling meaningless. What you are giving us here means nothing. Like the Mr. Iguana thing, all joking aside, and I think Hendry seemed to clock this because it was like, let's get a picture together as quick as possible and let's like liken ourselves to 1A, 1B of the mean fans. It's like there was definitely some sort of, oh, right, okay, if they are in the same league, then we're already kind of bored of Mr. Iguana. We've had our week with him. That's probably reduced Hendry's appeal to some of those fans. And the fact that the match was never destined for something they were going to watch. And the interaction was awkward. Like, again, they took a gap and they took away, and then he goes to the clothesline over the top, and you're like, is Trick going over? And it, like, he kind of looked like some of his limbs were attached to his body as he bumped off it. It was, it was very, like, clunky.
He's never going to put it together, Trick.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you mentioned post-match. Trick cuts the music, saying, time to put some respect on my name. He's carrying 2 brands at the same time. He's the best TNA champion that's ever.
He did say something here, didn't he, before he said about carrying 2 brands?
Oh, he said he's him.
He said he used to carry him.
Yes.
So is that have they been put back together on purpose?
Oh, that would be us him.
Agree. Get them back together. Let's just have a look at that on SmackDown.
Like, Carmelo Hayes doing the hybrid Gentleman's 3 crap that I see week after week after week after week. At least he can do it somewhat competently and carry the body of a match, and then he can tag in Trick to do his high spots and hide his limitations, of which there are many.
He was such an excellent gob way back when, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course he was.
Magnetic.
Of course he
Like,
was.
so, like,
That's why they keep going with this. Why
Yeah.
they keep persisting with this sort of doomed singles main event push. Them as a tag, like, it is very much accentuate the positive side, the negatives. Like, Carmelo Hayes is not him. He's the guy who says he's him, but he's not him. He doesn't have the size, the magnetism. He has an in-ring style that is cannibalized from so many other people, and it's actually quite contrived. But you can do the guts of a match, which Trick put them together as a tag team.
Yeah, he's interrupted as he's talking about being the best TNA champion by say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry, and people obviously turn to see the entrance, but he's not there. He sneaks up behind Trick and they fight, and as you mentioned, he knocks him to the outside.
Hendry later revealed that Trick has been doing that sort of thing to him on Impact. How would I ever know that? Why would I ever care? But until he revealed that, it just looked like a cowardly heel tactic.
Sloppy agent in this as well, because a cowardly heel did exactly this later on this very episode. So you've later on illustrated that the method Hendry chose was a sly one rather than like.
That reminds me, I need your help with a little bit of a segment later on.
I can't remember, but I'm sure I can help.
Ethan Page gets admonished backstage.
Okay. Oh, right, okay. I thought you were talking about maybe a joke that went over your head or something.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so anyway. We'll see as we go through. We go backstage to the No Quarter Catch crew. Tavion Heights has this special protective mask that looks awesome because I think he suffered an injury in training, a mouth injury or something. Yep. It was Charlie Dempsey who did it intentionally, according to Tavion. But Ren, lovely person that she is, stands up for Dempsey, saying that Charles cares about Tavion Heights, just wants to make him better. They're a family. It was a training accident. Charlie, meanwhile, is like, I'll face Javon Evans if you want. You can't wrestle or whatever. And Tavion says, no. The doctors have cleared me, and I'm going to be wearing this awesome mask that looks like Bane and Hannibal Lecter or something. And you won't have to care about my well-being because soon I'll be out in the NQCC, basically.
I quite liked this little device, like why you needed the mask and for what it allowed, like a bit of theatre of the mind for what's gone on in Ren QCC training this week. You know those, some of them are real bad, but you know those like fight videos that occasionally do the rounds through social media, and then you want to believe that sometimes it's the baddie that's getting it, they're just desserts rather than just a nasty fight, and it's just like one-punch knockouts, so it's like, oh, you shouldn't have messed with him or whatever. The idea that Charlie Dempsey's just like sucker punch Tavion Heights in a bit of training in order to try and get him out of the match, so much so that he's bust his mouth up and tried to injure him out of it. That's nice, that. That's a nice bit of storytelling. You little bastard. And then he would have got, I'll step in. I'll do the match if you want.
Yeah.
For what purpose? Like, for what purpose, Charlie? Not thought that thought through. I just wanted to chin my mate and this weird control he's got over it. I'm quite enjoying it.
I was awoken early on this morning. My phone was just blowing up. because Michael Sidgwick texted me saying, "Oh my God, is that George Gums Jr. and Tyreek Sapp of the Florida Gators football team?"
So happy to see them.
They were chatting with Myles Borne. I really, really like Myles Borne.
I like this segment.
And Lexis King, again, we say this every time, but I feel like the more it happens, it's got to be a Myles Borne thing that he's like, this is quite a good pattern. Especially because it's Lexis King who comes up and, a lone wolf, just like me. Myles Borne ignores him, but Lexis King thinks it's because of the deafness. But no, he's like, no, I just didn't want to listen to you because you're a dickhead.
The Lexis King delivery of this, like, again, camera's right there. Oh, yeah. He's deaf, isn't he? Like, thinking out loud the process to himself.
That's how he has to keep track.
That's it. That's how he lives his life.
Breathe in. Breathe out again. What happens now? Oh, breathe in.
He is a moron.
Yeah.
Myles doesn't want Lexis' advice, understandably, because Lexis takes every shortcut possible. Meanwhile, Myles worked his ass off to get where he is today. Quite right. And Myles says that Lexis is truly his father's son, and he's never going to change. Gums and Zap take the piss out of his beard, and he sort of fires back and then realizes, oh, wait, they're football players. See you later, guys.
Yep. It happened.
Good stuff, this. This is my show right here. And then we get Tavion Heights versus Javon Evans. Red Sinclair and Charlie Dempsey there at ringside. And Tavion Heights went in with a very good strategy here. Javon Evans jumps all over the place and he's really quick. So I'm a wrestler. I'm just going to ground him. I'm going to grab him every chance I get. But eventually Evans fights up to his feet, flips over Tavion, hits a sunset flip for 2. There's a springboard crossbody and a springboard Rana. Tavion rolls out of the ring, and Evans dives right onto him as we go to a break. When we come back, Heights is still in trouble, but he hits a pounce for 2. He also gets a 2 count from a German suplex, but he runs into a super kick in the corner, and that spinning top rope splash from Javon Evans gives him the win at 8:52 seconds. Post-match, Jasper Troy runs in to attack Javon Evans, hitting him with a black hole slam. Charlie Dempsey is like, we don't want any trouble, but I'm also not going to come to the aid of anyone.
This could have been more ambitious, truthfully. It was my favourite thing on the show, but they probably had more in them. Or they don't, but they've worked me into thinking they do. So I guess good. I've got a new favourite thing in wrestling because I thought this the first time I saw it, and I thought it even more in this match because Tavion Heights was a bigger guy doing it. The first time I saw Nathan Frazier do it, I was just like, by all means.
Yeah, by all means.
Where are we?
When I'm cleaning windows.
It like messed with my brain chemistry, which you like because it reminds you that you haven't just seen everything. You think you have, but you've not. And it's that running the ropes and then dodging via turning on a right angle and running to a different rope rather than sort of sliding under legs or going under a leapfrog or trying to hold the rope something.
The Leo Rush stuff.
Leo Rush does it as well, yeah. Tavion Heights doing it a couple of times here as an avoidance method from Javon Evans. I love it. He's too big to do that. I only associate that with small guys doing it or fast wrestlers. And Tavion Heights' speed is typically used for like capturing people. And I don't know, I really see something in him. I think there's some, not something. There's a lot I like about Tavion Heights.
Best people are going to come out of the NQCC is everyone not named Charlie Dempsey.
Basically,
maybe yes.
And he knows it.
Proper raw materials guy, Tavion Heights. So as a result,
I loved that tag match they had with Fraxian. Was that last year?
Yeah, there's been a few cases. I didn't watch. He went over to Japan as well, and I didn't see anything he did. But there's just...
I heard slightly more good things about it.
Yeah. I see improvement, which is great in NXT because you desperately want to see development in the developmental brand. So yeah, I actually thought they could have done more here to like explore the differences and what they're capable of, because you kind of do forget they've done a good job of working into feeling like Javon Evans, the 21-year-old, is like a 10-year established pro here on NXT because they've moved up the card quite quickly. I enjoyed this. Just they've got better in them.
It was fine and short for me. Fine and short, like a better level of work than you ordinarily get from NXT television. I kind of wanted more of it. I was somewhat underwhelmed purely because I'm looking for something. Let me feel something. Let me watch one good thing. Yeah, preferably 2 hours of goodness, but we're never going to get that. It's NXT.
I mean, a Thursday morning, that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't give a about that either, really, to be honest. If it's good, it'll be good. I'm not like going to bed late at night thinking, oh my God, Kota Ibushi tonight. So I don't know what you're trying to do.
I don't know what I'm doing either.
Look, I thought this could have been...
It's not like January 3rd, 2018. It's Kota Ibushi tonight.
I'm gonna win. It's not.
Everybody in the comments, let us know the last time you went to bed thinking, yes, Kota Ibushi tonight.
Kota Ibushi tonight.
Has that happened in the 2020s?
You're a golden lover. I don't know. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place references. Are they anything? It was fine and short. Too abbreviated for me to get much interest out of.
I thought for a split second, you've got that wrong. You must have, because we remembered his birthday was just after WrestleMania. I was like, he's got to be a 22-year-old piece of gold. He's still only 21, Javon Evans. Yeah. It's outrageous.
Do you think Charlie Dempsey's going to want to bring Jasper Troy into the NQCC?
Yeah.
That's the...
do you want to leave Tavion? Yeah, you can have a match. Oh, yeah. Just quick warm-up with Jasper Troy. Kill him.
You're a new guy.
But I also really like the potential of Javon versus Jasper Troy, because we know what Javon can do with big lads.
Yep.
We get a video package reminding us basically that, Noam Dar is out, unfortunately, with an injury. Now, you've got my conspiracy juices flowing now after what you two said yesterday.
Conspiracy corner.
He's relinquished the heritage cup. And we get a brilliant video package highlighting the lore of this legacy feud.
Well, because we kind of called the finish, did we not, in the previous day as well?
Well, oh my God, the execution of this finish was lamentable.
It was so funny, wasn't it? Well, I don't want accusations based on saying because we might have a connection directly related to the story that we're getting given scoops, because we're not. But the Noam Dar thing, we might be. We're not getting fed information off one of our colleagues. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, for Jesus Christ.
No.
Well, before we talk Adonisly about that, it was time for Ashante the Adonis versus Ricky Saints. It was a bit more of a showcase this for Ricky Saints. Beats up Ashante, who sells quite funnily, to be honest. Saints goes old school.
Why are you dancing up there? You got to walk across it as quick as possible, otherwise it looks stupid.
What's wrong with you, boy? You got some sort of headache or something?
I'd have looked like a dumbass because undead zombies do not cut rug up there. They get on with the act of jumping off.
But this time I'm going to let it slide. Speaking of which... check it out. I'm going to go down backwards.
That's good.
What are you, the thinker? Huh? Some kind of pretentious thinker, goddammit.
New Orleans.
Why don't you think about not ripping off my
What's the problem with old Orleans?
Why don't you think about that before I whoop your ass? Before I kick your ass, Ricky?
I'll kick your balls if you want a Rochambeau.
Rochambones. Is that anything?
Is that anything, Richard?
What were we enjoying of his yesterday? Oh, yeah, it's the LFG clip.
God dang.
Hip towels.
Thought I was watching the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Hey, where's the towels? Where's the towels? And landing damn near on the head.
Thought some of us were still trying to make this look real. Guess I'm wrong. After the buried alive match for me.
Guess I'm just cut from a different cloth.
Different cloth. I would cut those cloths with the lightning bolts that I fired out my fingers sometimes. Oh, wait, that was my dead brother.
Saints hit a tornado DDT off the ropes to get a 2. Ashante got a bit of fight in there, but in the end, Saints hit a spear and the Rochambeau for the 1, 2, 3. Anything you want to say about this?
It's fine when it reestablishes him.
Yeah. It was all about the post-match again, which I thought was quite clever.
Everything's a backdrop to some post-match thing or other.
It's best, isn't it?
No.
Even Page appears on the Tron, but there's some technical problems or something. But it's all a ruse.
SmackDown Hacker's back.
Yeah. Speaking of, hang on, we'll get that.
There's a great hacking legacy in NXT as well. Let's not overlook that. We've got Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
We've got Scribs.
Oh, I know. say his name and we'll play the thing.
Pay attention, please.
It would be remiss while talking
So
about
great bumping into him in Mania. There he is. So hello to him, didn't we, Nicholas? We did. Lovely man.
Sammy Callahan, man. An excuse to just talk about his finisher again.
I didn't see. I was watching NXT at the time. I remember you, but you need to sit down and watch this.
Wasn't ever called this, but I always think of it as the hex splash. Like,
I find, I'm sorry, failure's quite funny, isn't it? It's just like, I like it when someone shoots for the stars and then lands, I don't know,
on the belly.
on the belly. Like, the idea of him, like, late at night. Notepad, give me a notepad. Give me a notepad. You got a pen. Write it down. Yeah, I'm gonna win the big one at WrestleMania with this. What is it, Sammy? I'm just gonna just fall off the ropes or something. Is that anything? Imagine thinking that's good.
Just like him and Wade Barrett have got like the worst ever version of the Powerplex. Like Wade Barrett does the wasteland, and then he does like, we perfectly timed it. That's two blades.
Double Blair.
Yeah.
If you want more double Blair, listen to these two on the SmackDown.
Hey.
It's pronounced blue, Sidge.
Regrettably, that is good stuff.
And last week's was pretty crackers, if I remember right.
Might be this week's as well. We'll see.
Oh, if it is, you know who to call.
When I'm eating crackers, you're the one I call.
Ethan Page, yeah, he's on the Tron. But yeah, there's problems with it, but it's all a ruse so he can distract Ricky Saints, run in and jump him, teasing the Twisted Grin, but actually hitting him with his own move, the Rochambeau, before talking some trash, holding the North American title over him. More on this in a bit.
How long's this been going on?
Too long.
Well, obviously, it's too long.
Like 3-4 months, maybe. I mean, the grand payoff is coming, where the loser is the winner.
If you're Ricky Saints, come Starks, right, and you've been telling all and sundry for several years at this point, I should be the main event. I want the ball. I am so great. Like, every single week I want to see something. You know what I mean? I want to see something that grabs my attention, or something cool, or something, you know, water cooler promo, unbelievable match, great bit of something. Just does Ricky Stark stuff every single week and not very well. So, I mean, this is by design a load of nothing. But come on. I'm not saying you're The Rock because you clearly take certain sartorial influence from him. I'm not expecting you to do like, I don't know, friggin' My Name's Billy, you know, mock funerals for Austin, like the hilarious weekly exploits of The Rock when he's going like trying to drown Austin with a mutated freak fish. Like, but you kind of tell me that you're on that level, or you could be at that level, or you could be a main event star. He does nothing.
Yeah. When somebody's on the rise, they are the weekly talking point, aren't they? It's that sort of like...
He's certainly not on the rise.
Yeah.
Think he's going to be on in Seth's stable?
Maybe. I mean, depends if he...
I wouldn't put him in there.
Depends if he wins
I
this
would.
match with Ethan Page,
I
doesn't
wouldn't
it?
put him in there at all. I think it's terrible casting. I don't think it's as... Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. I wouldn't put him in there because it would be promotional malpractice to have him stand there, even if he's looking pretty, next to Seth Rollins' droning bollocks. I would have him...
Is that the stable name? A drone
It should be. It should be the drone. I don't know. It should be Ricky Starks in some kind of capacity where he can talk every single week. That's his best gift. His matches have been, unless he's in there with Danielson or select other opponents, even his best matches have got like really awkward moments. I would give him some kind of vehicle that allows him significant microphone time.
Talk show segment?
You know what? It's better than Seth. Anything's better than Seth Rollins. But I don't think he's a fit for that stable. I don't even know what the identity of that stable is. Do you know what I mean?
You could do it in front of a local water feature every week and call it Ricky's Lake.
Brilliant.
And that could be his talk show.
That is good stuff.
Okay.
Remember DarkState?
They insist on reminding us.
I a few weeks, I was like, oh, I guess that's not a thing anymore. But the funniest thing here was they were brought back to say, just because you haven't seen us doesn't mean we're not doing stuff.
I love that. We're not getting depushed.
We're cooking something up, and we're going to burn this place to the ground because when we strike, nobody's safe. They're also sponsored by a corporate insurance company when it was like, progressive moment or whatever it was, which I thought was just funny.
I mean, they're going to win the tag belts, aren't they?
Well, we don't know who that. Not get to it yet.
I mean, I don't know.
It's not
if
ruin a bullet point for next week, lads. So.
Sorry, I don't even know if they've been assisted yet because Ava's shout for help was so enthusiastic on account of it.
We'll hear that later.
Sorry,
we'll hear that in a while. Let's not spoil everything.
Ava's used as a retention strategy for the first time ever. Stick around for Ava.
Stick around for Ava.
Your cousin Nick's favourite wrestler was out next, Oba Femi. I always think of him now when Oba makes his entrance.
What would Ava's talk show be called?
Oh.
Talking in the Rain with Ava.
Good.
Doesn't make any sense. Why would it be called that? She's only got a surname. So.
This is true. She hasn't got a surname.
My cousin Nick loves Oba Femi because he's seen him wrestle twice, and it was at Stand and Deliver 2024 and Stand and Deliver 2025.
Pretty class introduction.
Yeah, like that.
I'm not surprised he's. I think it's my favourite wrestler I've ever seen.
Leave that building. And he's like, see you in a year, NXT. It's like, you sure will. Like goes. Oba Femi's gone from title to title, just has another triple threat. Which two wrestlers he's fighting this year?
I think it was simpler than that. I think he just really, really liked the walk, didn't he?
Yeah.
The walk, yeah.
Yes.
We're blessed with having you near us in the crowd to like...
Oh, yeah, I'll give you a quick recap of what's been going on here. Apart from it, when I had a mental breakdown, of course.
There was the, yeah. But otherwise,
you're quiet then.
You're the human My Way video package for every NXT feud. Right. Let me take you back to August 2023.
Nick, have you seen me do the Lola Vice dance yet? You will.
Nick, I've got a popper for you. You telling me that? I can't believe you did that.
Nick, you're not looking.
Nick, why have you sat over there, mate? We sat over here. Anyway, Oba comes to the ring and says, yes, since January he's been the NXT champion. He's put down every challenger that stepped forward from NXT, TNA, Raw, SmackDown. One by one they come and one by one they fall. They're footnotes in my legacy. Now I sit comfortably at the top of the pedestal, but this is where it gets dangerous. Any man in my position would start to rest on their laurels, coast and bask in the euphoria of his victories. But the ruler is not just any man now, is he? I get restless when there's no contenders, when there's no competition, because I live to fight. I enjoy the fight. I embrace the fight, and I need challengers. Any man who thinks they're worthy to take this title from me, anyone who thinks they can step up to the ruler, this is your opportunity. This is your moment. The ruler is ready. And Yoshiki Inamura comes out. Very happy to see this. And he says, I came to NXT to chase glory.
This is fatal to the prestige of the TNA World Championship, this. Why did they do it like this?
I came to NXT to chase glory just like you. But when it didn't come, I went home to Japan. And I realized all the things I've missed. My partner, Briggs, my best friend. But also I missed NXT because I love NXT. I love the culture, I love the passion of the fans. And I want to pay them back by becoming NXT champion. I want bigger, and that's you in that title. And Oba Femi says, Mr. Inamura, they're in common. They know what it's like to be strangers in a different place. He made this place his home a long time ago. NXT since then has been his kingdom, and he's thrived since the beginning. He's had his fair share of, Inamura, you've had your fair share of struggles that made you go back to Japan. But that's why they've embraced you, because you came back and you did it all with a smile on your face. But you can't fool me. I see beyond that smile. I know that man has a fighting warrior spirit who craves the fight just as much as I do. So Inamura, you want to fight for the honor? Big mistake, because when you face the ruler, you will fall just like everybody else. And Inamura says,
you're in trouble when you mess with Oba Femi. Basically what he said.
Yeah.
Inamura says he was ready. And then Jasper Troy comes in and takes him out as well with a running body block on the outside. Reminds Oba that they've got unfinished business.
As Sid just pointed out, and as
number one contenders match next week.
As we talked about last week, it is hilarious that the NXT title has been cast aside like trash, but Inamura has used it to basically
the
say...
TNA title, sorry.
Excuse me, the TNA title has used it
to
say, I want an NXT title shot. Yeah, the proper one, the real world title. I like the match. And I like if this is the device that, because Josh Briggs is lost in that shot, breaks up Briggs and Inamura. Oh, you came back because of your friendship. Well, you're not that much of a friend, are you? Because like the first opportunity you got to with the NXT title, you just cast me aside and left me with this piece of garbage, the TNA title shot. I thought you valued me right there. But I genuinely, I'm not being flippant here. This feels like it could form part of a split between the two, because Inamura could be a guy that's got Oba Femi's number, but Briggs cannot get it done as a singles guy and sees his mate getting closer and closer and is like, I can't take this, and then turns on him. That's your match, isn't it?
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I think he beats Jasper Troy. We'll talk about it next week, obviously. He beats Jasper Troy as a, well, he's just beaten, if he's beating this big man, then he's got another big man for the title, basically. Do you think there's a bit where, like, Briggs is there and happy for him, and then there's a little moment, and someone comes along and whispers in his ear that starts spreading that doubt?
Yeah.
Just like, will he still be there for you if he's off being the world champion?
I could see it.
Maybe. I actually like this. I can do without the whole, the passion of this place. And it's like, well, let's see how many of them pay money for tickets and see how passionate they are. Start charging them a decent sum in the weeks and months to come, and let's see how passionate they are. 400 people making performative noises for free in front of an Extractor fan, and I've had to listen to the passion of this place for about what? Coming up friggin' 13 years?
The Performance Center.
Well, an NXT
in
brand.
Full Sail,
Like the brand as we kind of half know it.
Yeah.
I never need to hear that ever again. It's just complete boilerplate, all these marks like that. Stick in passion and they'll go, woo! Or whatever. Economical promo that made it feel like it's a very compelling match to begin with. I think this could be really something, if this reaches its ceiling, really something. I'm really big into this match. I'm not going to watch it. Is it getting counter-programmed? Is it the one that's counter-programming?
Well, it depends. It
What's
feels...
this?
I see the...
Oh, yeah, I won't watch it. I will not watch it.
And God bless the United States.
When are you going to get a chance to catch up with All In?
I have to wait and see. Yeah, it's going to be a hectic weekend, that. I'm off on the Monday afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll try and squeeze it in.
Indeed.
Priority will be the Great American Bash.
If this match reaches its ceiling, it could be genuinely worth going out of your way to see. I'll probably catch up with it in the days following, because if All In reaches its ceiling, I'd like to live in that world a little bit and, whatever. Economical, set the stakes out. I believed both wrestlers when they weren't talking about brand stuff and what they were saying. It felt like this big, unique match I really want to look at. I thought they did a very good job of selling it. And again, short, sweet, distinct, to the point. Anti-Seth Rollins. I'm going to start invoking him as how not to do things. This is an anti-Seth Rollins.
Not in terms of these promo battles, promo trains and the like, but they're a little bit like AEW mid-card booking Oba Femi's title reign at present. It's like they've looked up and down the roster in an acknowledgement they're not really telling good stories in the men's and thought, what are the matches? What are just the interesting matches?
Yeah.
And then they still WWE eyes the stories. They do. This was a very much, you're this turn-taking history of NXT, whatever. But the match combinations that they're landing at with Oba Femi at the moment isn't it? It's just who would be good to look at?
Yeah.
And there's that feels like, and it's working as a strategy, I think.
No, absolutely. I will say, there's no other interpretation of, I don't want the TNA title. You can have that ticket. I want this. Why even give them the choice to make one look second rate? Classic Fed sabotage, this.
Yeah.
Only interpretation.
Having said that, though, they're running for, it's Slammiversary, isn't it?
Is that the next one?
Hendry and...
Is that the UBS Arena one?
Yeah. That's a Dynamite building of yore, isn't it?
It's a Dynamite building of yore, and I tell you what, that is a deeply disappointing advance for the number 2 promotion, isn't it?
It struck me as like...
Number 2 promotion. You want to go to night school. If you ever catch yourself earnestly, without joking about it, writing that down or having the thought go through your head, you want to go to night school.
And people aren't saying that phrase euphemistically. Because I think TNA is a number 2 promotion.
Yeah. You want to, educate yourself. just learn what's going on, look around, study, bone up. I mean, how stupid can you be?
But what I was going to say in terms of the Fed sabotage point, for a fact they're going to paper it or do whatever they can, get as many asses in seats, and then take the beauty shots, aren't they, of this UBS arena for Slammiversary.
Oh,
get that shared around the usual accounts. And they're looking massive again. It's great. Used to run Dynamites there back in the day, but I guess that's more a TNA homestead now. That's where that goes. When you see that arena and you're like, that's why
there are few like this. It is a space dominated by pathetic people and people who should know better, like myself on occasion, falling into the trap as I just have. Like that might be the most pathetic thing for me. Like, reevaluate your life and your brain. Like, think about stuff.
I've never seen so many full arena TNA pictures in the 23 years of this company's existence.
Yeah.
Than I have in like the last 6 months.
Like, you need to do something with your life. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, go and make an adventure for yourself. Maybe find love, or learn a hobby, or hit the books or something. You are vermin. You are purposeless vermin. If you're the kind of person saying stuff like that, I have got no time for you whatsoever. I don't even pity you. I think you are absolutely pathetic.
Following on from that,
It's just I try when you reach 40, you just stop caring about things. You can't go too far.
Yeah, that's kind of
You can't go too far, else you'll stop caring about nothing.
It's kind of.
But you every now and then it will flood out of me, this contempt I have for certain people. Like, God damn it. God, are you me?
You do a good job to hide it, though.
Oh, yeah, cheers.
You do a
Thank you
fantastic
very
job.
much.
It's
made my day, that.
You'd never be able to tell.
What, the grifters are that they get the regular DM from Legend or wherever, we're like, here's what we need you to do today. Here's our task today. Incredibly support TNA. What? I need some help. We'll send you a full building or something. Oh, like sweat pouring off. Say something nice about TNA. Are you joking to me?
Some of them just do it because they think it's what they want.
They kind of think it's real.
People, the Fed lads are going to Saudi without a bonus, I've learned.
Yeah, yeah, that's long gone. I remember that was a thing a few years ago when somebody, I don't know if it's somebody been released or it was like, yeah, stop that after 2019. Isn't it? It was just that kind of that shrugging acceptance and nothing's good. Like it was like before Vince had gone sort of things. It was like, yeah, we just go there because we're told. See you later. Might have been somebody that was stuck on the 2019 flight, and it was like, yeah, most of us didn't even get the bonuses. That's your Goldberg and your Shawn Michaels business. We're just
along
flying
for
well told.
along for the ride.
Backstage, Izzi Dame gives Tatum Paxley a new doll. She asks, how would you like to be in my corner for tonight's main event? Sol, Ruca and Zaria are there.
Good job they were.
Yeah, they sort of like, come on, what are we doing here? And Izzy's like, I'm glad you're not still bitter about your loss last week. I'm the closest you'll ever get to it. The closest you'll ever get to the championship, Zaria, is basically standing next to Sol Ruca. Izzy tells Tatum she'd love to have her in a corner tonight, and introduces Tatum to the culling. Sean has heard many good things about her, and Spears and Nico also have their eyes on championship gold. So you see, you assumed the Hank and Tank attack.
That's fair point.
There's many.
I love that
webs being woven
in that segment where they were like, "Izzy Dame's so cerebral and intellectual." She illustrates that by A, smashing Brooks Jensen in the back with a steel chair, and B, scouting Tatum Paxley.
Almost worked.
So wise.
Almost worked. You look very silly in that main event.
It didn't. Oh, all right.
Got a 2 count. One more count. It should have.
I mean, she was actively distracted by somebody physically removed from the scene. That was the one thing she didn't want to happen.
Yeah. Them's the breaks.
At least they're putting them together. At
Maybe.
least they're putting them together, so I must only endure one spooky, sinister act at the same time because they've all just been sellotaped together. Thank God.
Now their chair's got 4 legs again, potentially.
Yes. This group ever makes it into a prominent over main roster position, I will iron my cock.
I mean, your move, WWE. Imagine them getting a call to them.
The trap, ladies and gentlemen, is the calling.
They'll have to get over. They have to.
Sean Spears pulls over and he sees his phone. It's a Connecticut dialing code. He's like, I'm not answering that. He thinks it's one thing. It's actually another. You're coming on the road.
They would have to get over.
I love Hamflett thought you were going to say, show my arse in Fenix window.
Yeah, we all did.
I will iron my cock in Fenix window. It'll be the most unique Christmas display
I was
ever.
what was the Christmas display this year?
All the families are trying to explain. It must be the meaning of Christmas.
Isn't it nice how the Greg sign's still backwards, isn't it?
I think
nobody's making eye contact with.
You don't know art. You don't know art. I think
What wins the Turner Prize?
I think if you don't know, Fenix is a big department store in Newcastle upon Tyne, England, and they have a Christmas display called the Fenix Window. What I would be trying to communicate through my art, to my performance art of ironing my cock, is basically telling you that, I know life, the daily, day-to-day routine of life, it's very, monotonous to the point of pain. But God damn it, that just makes you want to experience and embrace and live within and celebrate the spirit of Christmas all the more. Everyone irons their cocks all day long. It hurts and it's boring. Okay, it's a source of pain, but it's something.
This is taking ages.
It's something you've got to do. It's something you've got to do. But God damn it, just think about all those moments. If you're thinking, Christmas isn't going to be magical this year, it is going to be magical. You just need the perspective. Yeah.
Who's going to iron the other four? You can't have 4 crease cocks.
I'll just flap them around on the ironing board. Like you got a shirt sleeve, and then you get one side of the shirt and you drape that over.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about what is a shirt if not 5 cocks in one fabric?
That's what we've always said. Actually, yes.
So you get sleeve 1, sleeve 2, side of the shirt with the buttons on 3, side of the shirt with the slits 4, and then it would be 6 because you do need to get watch. But this is the back.
Yeah, the back.
5.
Back brackets generally.
5 cocks, 1 shirt.
Is that the Collings thing? Oh, no.
She was breaking like a dollhouse chair before she was giving me dollars. So they probably put that in there on purpose.
That was a very good clue, yeah. Missed that.
Honest Jesus Christ, if they're calling her like Steve Austin hot in like years time.
I told you I'll do it.
That's it. Like everyone, this has become the new Yeet. Francis, I've got some terrible news.
Anyway, Trick Williams is venting about Joe Hendry in the locker room, and Wes Lee comes in and says he's got a match with Joe next week, and they're going to take care of him, basically. Trick owes Wes Lee.
Yeah.
Then it was time for the Heritage Cup to be battled for. It's vacant at the time, of course, and it was Tony D'Angelo versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. This was sensational. Rounds match, our favourite kind of match. No falls in the first round. They kept fighting after the bell. Yeah. That's not sticking to the rules. Have to be pulled apart by officials. Tony gets one up, though, in the second round. Thez press out the bell, punches, clothesline. Stacks is a cheap shot and goes to the apron, but Tony runs into him and sends him into the commentary table. They get back in. Big spear off the ropes, and Tony gets the 1-2-3 to go 1-0 up. Round 3. This is the round during the ad break, basically, for pretty much all of it.
Bloody hell.
There was Stacks had his goons out there, and they chop blocked Tony D'Angelo during all this. That allows Stacks to take over. And in the final 20 seconds that we actually see, he gets a single leg crab on Tony. But the time all runs out after all this. Round 4, Tony's in trouble. Goes to do some sort of pop-up move on Stacks. The leg gives out. Stacks gets an inside cradle to level it up at 1-1. But don't worry. Here comes Luca Crucifino in Tony's corner for round 5. And... he tells him to trust him. And, it's all on the line here, 1-1. Stacks is targeting the knee. Tony sends Stacks into the ropes. Belly to belly, spine buster. He says Stacks is dead to him. Throws him onto his pile of goons on the outside. He rolls Stacks back in, fights the goons. Luca goes to make the save because they get involved and Stacks is there and what have you. And the bucket, I should have mentioned, the bucket has been introduced from the corner, which you two did say yesterday. And unfortunately, Luca pulling the bucket away accidentally nails Tony. And that allows Stacks to hit a suplex into the ring and a running knee to the back of Tony's head. 1, 2, 3. Stacks is Heritage Cup champion. Luca pleads his case to Tony post-match, but Tony lays him out.
What do you want? This is bad.
You watch, mate.
Incredibly dull.
I was enthralled.
A very laboured attempt at like this attritional brawl where I just felt no animosity or anything.
No.
Just the most laboured, dull brawl I can recall seeing.
What do you do with the finish, right? Because
No, I need to talk about this finish.
Well, because I was watching it thinking, well, something tells me, I don't know, Wilbourn's going to have the perfect explanation for why we saw what we saw about Luca Crucifino.
It was an accident.
Well,
Nothing more there. He's trying to get the bucket away, and it just accidentally
They are
connects.
right, here's the thing about this finish, right? It was one of the worst finishes I can recall in living memory, okay?
Oh, sorry. Ah.
No, I'm allowed to bury the finish.
Yeah, you can do. I've just got to go take this call from it's Mark Henry because it's Sweet Chin Disco. Tickets available at dice.fm. I'll be back. Carry on.
Good.
The switch and disco thing's always getting in the way of the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah. So the worst thing about this goddamn finish, right, is that it was meant to be left ambiguous.
Yeah.
You were meant to think, ooh, hang on. Did he mean to hit Tony D with that bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Or was he trying to, just help his buddy out? Or was he trying to make it look like it was accidental? It was terrible either way.
Yeah.
It was sort of terrible either way because if the idea, right, there's option A and option B. If it's option A, he did it accidentally, right? He, in full view of the camera, looked at Tony D.
He checked a lot.
Now, sorry, boys.
Yeah.
Option B, it was meant to be on purpose, but looked like an accident. It was so obviously telegraphed that
And he's forgetting that would be like for the viewer's benefit, but like Tony D could also watch that back and be like, look, I saw the footage.
Yeah,
You were looking for me. You waited goddamn ages.
You were practically staring at my ass.
Yeah. Oh,
You thought it was poor as well.
really poor. Really
Absolutely.
Poor. I was
But just
rooting
talk
for
about-
it.
Just talk about it for a second. I want to know if you've got
The same.
You're a little bit nicer about NXT, so let the people know why it's good in this specific case.
Hey, stop.
How's it going, guys? Mwah! Heritage Cup champion in the house, huh?
Is that the one they sell on the shop?
No, this is a little bit. It just looks different on the TV. You know, they say the camera has 10 pounds. I don't know how many Hamflett has on him on a daily basis, but there you go, huh?
That's kind of the kind of asshole Stacks is now.
Yeah, yes.
It's funny, you've come in at just the right time, Stacks. Sidge asked me a question, and your joy with the Heritage Cup is the answer to that question. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Who cares how it happened? Heritage Cup champion, baby.
That's, you know what? You've missed Wilbourn today, but he often feels that way about a lot of NXT.
Yeah.
He's not here. I was
No.
watching another one of your podcasts the other day, and I think he dropped a pen or something.
Yep.
And some other guy popped up.
That's right.
And he looked like some kind. What's the deal with robots? Huh?
I'll ask you in a second, but I'll answer in a second. I was just going to ask you, do you have a good time partying with Luca last night?
What are you talking about?
All right, okay.
I was just thinking there, like, maybe, obviously we do.
But I did have a good time with my consigliere. You know what I mean?
You consigliere.
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
Okay.
You know how Stacks
Let's
just
just call him Mr. Crucifino.
There's two obvious.
Luca C.
Stacks does like audio and video pods, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like maybe, if not like on one of these ones, for example, one day we might have to introduce him to Proto. Like, because that can happen, right? They could both appear on the same day, couldn't they?
I think they get along.
I think they would.
Yeah.
Just have to see if that could yeah.
Yeah. Robots.
I'm Wilbourn. Well, everybody, all of us.
Okay.
Yep.
Robots are, the robot that you have in mind is sort of a fantasy of science fiction where the robots who we can create to complete menial tasks might eventually, rise up against us when they develop consciousness of their own, that sort of thing. But robotics, is an industry. You get like robots manufacturing cars and all the rest of it. And I see a screenshot on X quite often where it says that women will be shagging robots by 2025. So a few months left and that'll be happening.
Well, you mentioned that actually, Sidge, because I actually bought a robotic penis that attaches between my forearm and fingers. It's quite futuristic, huh? 3 questions, 3 jokes for you. Sidge, why did the robot stop watching porn?
Because he had something like post nuts and bolts clarity.
Nuts and bolts, yeah.
Post nuts and bolts clarity. Or why do the robots stop watching porn? I don't know.
It's not that, is it? But post nuts and bolts clarity.
That's
really
good stuff. It is good stuff. I don't know.
Good night, right? Why did the robot stop watching porn? He lost his sex drive, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
Question joke number 2, Hamflett. Why did the robot need Viagra?
Is this something to do with losing his hard drive? Like a bit of a sequel punchline?
No. He likes to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
Is there anything like, computery to do like an erection pun?
That's a hard disk, hard drive.
Stiffy, boner.
Floppy disk.
Yeah. Oh.
Because he only had a floppy drive. That's why he used Viagra.
What was the setup again?
Why did the robot need Viagra?
Because he had a floppy disk.
For his floppy disk.
I'll give it to you. Bingo! Because his disc was floppy.
Yes. Thank you.
Question joke number 3.
I'm not telling James any of these.
Tell him this one. Why are robots bad in bed?
Short circuit. Because you only got a short circuit. Like a small cock, but a robot cock. You can make it.
That's a Daft Punk song, isn't it?
Yeah, you can probably make it as big as you want, if anything. You can do what you want. They're created. 10 inches of solid steel.
Like Inspector Gadget, like. Go get your penis. This is definitely a 3-er, surely. Like a
yeah.
What was the setup again?
Why are robots bad in bed?
What about if he's going to turn the joke on us? He says, "I don't know, but they made your mother bored."
Yeah, maybe something like that. Motherboard.
Yeah.
Good night, right? You actually so that goddamn close, though. Why are robots so bad in bed? Because they just screw, nut, and bolt. See you later, guys.
See you. Bye, Stacks.
Bye, mate. Yeah. All right. Speak to you later. Sorry about that.
What did he have to say for himself?
It wasn't actually. I got confused. It was Henry Mark, if you remember him. He just let me know he's going to be coming to Sweet Chin Disco.
What happened to your hair? It looks
windy outside. I
Tussled.
don't want to take it in the, it's a private conversation. I want to go outside.
We have, much to my dismay, multiple unused rooms in this very building that just simply never get used because they just don't. We got far too many rooms. Why didn't you
I
one
just
of those
didn't
rooms.
think, to be honest, mate. Yeah, I'll bear that in
You're a bit
mind
warm
for
in
next
here.
time.
It's hot in the building at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why I left my jacket out there as well.
Yeah.
I was wearing when I left. Just remembered. Sarah Schreiber has a backstage interview with Fatal Influence, that being, of course, the former North American champion Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix, and the NXT Women's Champion JC Jane. They talk about Blake Monroe's contract signing last week. And yes, Fallon's taken exception with Blake, thinking she could walk into the deepest women's division in the world and go straight to the top. Putting her through the table was their way of welcoming her to their division. The only thing is forever around NXT is Fatal Influence's control over this division.
Isn't that the truth?
And the NXT Women's Championship. JC knows that Evolution is a historic event, and they're going to be watching tonight. But all it will be after tonight, whoever gets their hand raised the person who gets their hand raised in Atlanta, Georgia, I've written here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is going to be JC Jane. Thea Hale's having a chat with some of the LFG guys. Lainey Reid joins the conversation, telling Thea she does a good job being played like a fiddle. Thea's like, you got a big mouth. It's the fact that you only got here 2 weeks ago. Lainey says that Thea hasn't changed at all. He gets all riled up when, skirt! Here comes Lash Legend and says, shut up. Watch how I win tonight, basically.
One of them women's segments. Thea Hale's got a case. She should probably go to Ava. She hasn't got a say in the general manager of NXT over this one because she won and nobody cares. It was the tap out and the ref missed it. It's on the ref. It's like, oh well. It wasn't like a cheating thing, was it? It's not like everybody ran in and distracted. It was
There's no VAR
no
in wrestling.
Yeah, true. Just feel like she could have.
There can't be any VAR in wrestling.
I mean, somebody just gave up a TNA title shot, kind of have a proper one, and then So this, you can fight for it more. She could fight for it a bit more.
There is Avar, though. She was backstage with North American champion Ethan Page. This is why I require your help. I'll play the role of Ethan Page. You play the role of Ava. She says, Ethan, what the hell was that?
Ethan, what the hell was that?
And Ethan basically says, oh, that's Ricky Saints being Ricky Saints. He gets what he deserves. I've tried to be on my best behavior here, but he just keeps pushing my buttons. And Ava says, best behavior? That's your best behavior? That's pathetic, and I'm sick of this.
Best behavior? That's your best behavior? It's pathetic, and I'm sick of it, Ethan.
And he basically like, bloody hell, so am I. Just make sure Ricky Saints stays far, far away, and we're going to have to deal with this issue again. And Ava says, I'm sure you'd love that, huh?
I'm sure you'd love that, huh?
Page goes, yes, that's why I said it.
There's no need to be about it, Ethan, is there?
Well, actually what she says is, Ethan, don't piss me off.
Ethan, don't piss me off.
You and Ricky are required to be in my office next week.
You and Ricky are required to be in my office next week.
Because you're both the problem, and you're going to settle it.
Because you're both the problem. Line.
And we're going to settle it.
We're going to settle it.
And Ethan says, I'll be handling this on my own terms. But then we hear a big ruckus in the background, and poor Hank and Tank, the tag team champions, have been laid out. They didn't see who did it, but thankfully Ava's there, and she calls for help.
Help.
Thanks, Ava.
It's like she was crashing.
Honestly, like,
Hell,
I see moments like this happen. I know you're just like, oh, God, here we go, another bloody backstage thing. I see things like this happen, and I go, oh, that's going to be fantastic on the podcast. I'm really excited to talk about that. Or recreate it, I should say. Your thoughts?
Ava, can you charge...
You were a front row seat for that, so your thoughts?
I mean, I love that.
Thank you.
Can you charge the corridor convincingly? Well, we're going to make you. Help
Ava,
us.
can you do anything? Not really. So,
Star.
Sige, I know you were heavily involved with that, so any notes you'd like to give on this?
it's just funny how, like, it's just meant to be Jack Tunney, or like the stern authority figure who lays down the law.
I just thought of something. If that's what's happening, then next week we can be Ethan Page and Ricky Sainz in Ava's office. We can do like a 3-man.
Yes.
We never normally get to do all 3 of us.
Yeah.
I'll get the script printed.
Okay.
Well,
So he's going to be Ethan Page.
Ethan Page and Ricky Sainz have been required to be in Ava's office
So I'll
next
be
week.
Ava. You can be Ricky Sainz. Can you pull off boring?
I think I can get that.
Sarah Shriver's with Joe Hendry.
Podcast fans.
He's glad to be back in NXT. He talks about NXT Battleground. You're grounded! Battleground? Ma'am, you're not a winner. It was in LA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a night that he thinks about every single day. He can't change the past, but he can damn sure control the future. He's going to regain the TNA World Championship Slammiversary when he defeats Trick Williams. Trick has made himself very comfortable showing up in TNA whenever he wants. So Hendry's going to do the same in NXT. And Wes Lee has forgotten where he came from, but he's going to remind him next week. Wes is going to fight a 252-pound man full of pure motivation to become the next TNA World Champion.
100 Jeff Jarrett's, 252 Joe Hendry's. Wesley's like, hell. I'm going to need more than high rise. Say his name, say his name, say his name, say his name. They just all turn him round. Keep coming, stop turning round.
It's like Mr. Meeseeks.
28 Joe Hendry's later, but they just keep coming. 252 Joe Hendry's versus. This is like when Wardlow fought all them security guards.
Yeah.
Wesley versus 252 Joe Hendry's.
Remind me of that next week.
And 252 Joe Hendrys could beat up one gorilla. You reckon?
Yeah.
252, you're probably thinking,
We got to go to Chase U.
Oh, no.
This was a bit of a run, which was, I think, my favourite bit of the show, actually. Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors are back in class. They just didn't want to be in class last week. They're back.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chase tells them they need to toughen the up. And Uriah says, you can't talk like that and create a toxic environment. Mr. Chase says, you think you are? This attitude built this university. And Kale says...
One class within the gym.
Yeah, I know.
Kale says that attitude might have built this university, but it's also the reason why it fell apart.
It's not. It's because he kept gambling it.
Yeah, no. They're all bang up for JC. They loved it.
Kale and Uriah thought it was going to be different this time, and Kale can't believe he called him back to open this place up, and we get a nice little flashback of when that happened.
Right, okay, this is my key problem. I've been broadly in support of this purely because it facilitates me being blue.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is potential to this story. It is not a good idea to do lore of this reboot that's nowhere near as good. Actively quite bad, really. Yeah. Well, like this, like, how it all began, where did it all go wrong? Week 1? Like the idea that, if we could just go back to the glory days of those like tentative inquiries as to whether the education establishment can reopen, you know, those glory days and those lovely memories. What are they thinking with all this? It's not good.
Yeah, in Saved by the Bell, the new class, it was like the episode where like Zach Morris and Slater came back, and you could almost get away with that if like Thea Hall and they brought Duke Hudson back for the night. They were like, "Don't lose faith in Chase U."
Or guest speaker, or
institution that changed our life, sort of thing. They didn't just
They can't bring back
bring
Duke
the
Hudson.
existing new class and be like, "Well, we're still here."
yeah.
They can't bring back Duke Hudson and Brody Hayward.
No.
What did Chase U do for them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got them out of wrestling, effectively.
Yeah.
So just Thea Hall, then,
Yeah.
I continue to not know what the hell they're doing here.
No.
I'm fascinated. Main event of the evening is the number 1 contenders fatal 4-way. It was Jaida Parker, Lash Legend, Izzi Dame with Tatum Paxley. Bear that in mind. And Jordynne Grace, whilst fatal influence, that being, of course, the former North American champion, Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix, and the world champion, JC Jane.
No.
Sitting in the perch thing here. Jordynne Grace looked really good in here because she's Jordynne Grace. She runs wild at one point, hits a fisherman suplex, But then they all start hitting moves on each other. Dame hits a flapjack. Legend breaks up the hypnotic. Taken down by Grace. Chokeslammed onto the apron by Dame. Sol Ruca and Zaria appear because Paxley tries to interfere and distracts. Sol gets involved somehow. I can't remember what happened. And Zaria carries Tatum Paxley away.
Sol's like trying to have a word, and Zaria's like, enough of that stupid plan and pick. So there's a little bit. They played with the tension there as well, and physically carried away. So Izzi Dame was distracted. So the plan. I mean, if she can see the future so well, why don't you see this plan failing in front of her very eyes?
She can't quite see the future. She's no Apollo Crews.
Of course, sorry.
We come back with Jaida Parker hitting a teardrop on Grace and Dame. But Fireman's carry to Grace is cut off by Dame's big boot. Legend puts Dame on top. Parker cuts that off with a backstabber to Legend and a nice sunset flip for a 2 count. And it sets up in a corner, basically a big Tower of Doom spot with Izzy, Jaida, and Lash. And Grace sort of flips over the top of everyone to effectively hit like a triple super powerbomb thing, Tower of Doom spot. Crowd pop for that, obviously. Grace does that thing, which I still quite like, where you go around covering all 3. Never works, obviously, but I do like that. Grace is frustrated. She picks Jaida up, slams her down, goes for a Vader bomb, but Jaida moves. There's a drive-by in there. Izzy hits a code breaker. Lash hits a pump kick. Izzy gets sent outside. Lash slams Jaida down and covers, but Grace breaks it up with a double stomp. Lash gets sent to the outside, and a torture rack bomb gets the 1-2-3 for Jordynne Grace. She is heading to Evolution.
This is like, I feel a bit weird being in the spot, because this is normally the bit after Sidge has praised elements of a match that I couldn't have cared less about on like a Dynamite, and then now I'm going to throw a Hamflett where he tells you that he was just bored watching all the wrestling, like, because this felt like that. This was so, because I'm not that interested.
It was proficient.
Yeah, like this happens on with Dynamite quite a lot at the moment. I'm just not interested in many of the wrestlers, so a lot of the matches play out in front of me, and I'm just whatever. Like, or I might have like half an interest in the winner, but the winner was so obvious, I wasn't invested in how they were going to get there.
This has been happening to you recently.
All the time on Dynamite, and it's like it was here. Like
There was a split second where I thought Lash Legend might win it.
Well, I didn't think she
or
did.
Or Jaida, actually, I think it was.
I was struck by how much they gave Lash Legend here, but I never thought she was going to win. This was Jordynne Grace's match all day, but there seemed to be this conscious effort to actually profile Lash Legend and think, oh, we're going to get 2 things out of this, not just a winner. The work was, proficient. I was quite disappointed by this. I actually wanted a bit more, just something meaningful. I like a couple of the characters. I like some of the journeys they've been on these. I know it's the reverse of the Queen of the Ring and King of the Ring with the 4-way being the finale rather than the qualifier. Maybe they should have just copied the Raw and SmackDown homework and it would have been better. This was just empty calories, perfectly good wrestling. And it's kind
Right
of,
result.
yeah, but like the least interesting way to set it up in hindsight, I think. I'm really bored by this.
That's proficient.
Well, there's any thoughts on NXT in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow all 4 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at.
I'm Sidgwick.
Follow our producer Adam Nicholas at.
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcast. The Dynamite preview is available right now. But for now, this has been the NXT review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick, to Stacks. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.